Alright, let's make some music. Ooh, Minds theme. So today I'll be making music without hearing. My headphones are face down. I've got this cheat sheet that'll help me pick the right notes for certain instruments. And I have this 30-minute timer. So let's get started with our deaf blind theme. With our Minds theme. So I think about a mine, I imagine something very dark and grungy like bram, 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 bram. And first things first, let's actually figure out what tempo we want. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Maybe slower. 1, 2, 3, 4. I like that. It's very march-like and bram, bram, like swinging the pickaxe. Maybe going all the way down to C is gonna sound nice. Let's actually have just a very simple theme throughout the whole thing. Think sort of rhythmic timpani. Boom, boom, boom type of thing going on. We can have some hi-hats in the intro. Hi-hat is D4. Very typical rhythm with the hi-hats. Strong hit and a couple of weak hit. Da, 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 da. And I think with our chord pad we can also have some background noise. Let's just do a very slow pattern in the intro. Maybe C to what, the G? Yeah, I think this is a good intro. And I'm thinking what we can do next is clone this. We'll sort of have the same thing going on, but we'll get started with our melody. And I think for the mines, we're gonna have the electric guitar do like a dwarf song, like a song that you would hear dwarfs singing. I'm digging in the mines. Let's start with C4. C4 is the lowest it can get, so let's pick an A above that. So, bum, 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 bum. What could we do for the guitar? Bum, 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 bum. No, that sounds like a circus. Ba, 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 ba. Something like that, maybe. Ba. Yeah. That seems good. I think since this is so simple, what we can do is, instead of duplicating the patterns like this, we can actually have guitar song, right? So this is what the guitar is gonna sing. So now we can repeat this chanting noise here and have it going with the other one. I'm thinking we have the strings, and I'm not gonna change these from low strings to strings. That way, no matter what I do, it'll sound a little bit more good, and we can also have them go high since everything's so dark and down. So maybe around C5 or something would be good. Or since that note with the piano starts on the G, we can do that. I'm thinking we have another guitar song and another strings reprieve, and then after that it goes into a different section. So let's go back to this guitar song. Ba 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 ba. And we can end off in the same note to keep that scheme going. And how do we want to change this? Ba, ba, ba. And let's make this unique. The drum set is gonna have some mojo going on here, and it's gonna bring up the energy for the next section. So let's go to our drum set. Let's give ourselves a kick and a snare. I think we should go just 4 beats down here. Boom, 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 ba-da-bum. Boom, boom, ba-dum. Something like that. And we can have some toms, of course. C6. Ba-boom, boom, boom. Right. And now that we have all this, let's rename this to strings, actually. Now I kind of want to do a section where it's like 4 on the floor drum pattern. So let's make a new section, but I actually do want the hi-hats. I want to add an open hat. Yeah, I just want an open hat on every offbeat and it'll have a nice effect. For everything else, just very simple kick and snare. And here I think the piano can play chords. I'm kind of concerned that this will be too low. I don't think so. I think it'll be fine. Yeah, you can't go wrong with dwarfness. For our new section, let's start on the 1, and then maybe a 3, and then maybe a 5 and a 4. And let's just draw on these chords and maybe invert them afterwards. I think I want it to be a little bit airy. Let's do some shenanigan like this. That can be our new section. I think timpani can take a break for now. And let's draw in some melody with the electric guitar. I forgot the chord pad. Let's also give these notes to the chord pad. Maybe instead of chords being on the piano then, what we can do is we have a sort of rhythm. But first let's come up with a melody. So guitar here is singing its song. It's like bum 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 bum. And I think we can just draw the notes right in this pattern because it'll help us. Boom 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. And we can do a new one, make it unique, and we'll add power to it by adding the strings. I'm gonna copy the electric guitar over to the strings, and I'm gonna remove the small delicate rhythms because the strings are very sweeping. They have trouble with some of the faster articulations. And you know what? I'm feeling lucky, so let's go to Pound Town up here. Well, we wanted to do something with the piano, right? So let's go back here. Let's add some articulations. So ba-da, boom, boom, da-da. And we can lower the velocity of these notes relatively. And we can do something similar here. So it'll be like a bum, 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 but with a little bit of added texture and rhythm to it. And I think we can sort of do the same thing that we did here, but just fit the notes properly. Do the same thing over here and fit these notes. We can get rid of the same piano over here and put in the exact same idea here, and maybe extra flourish these notes, put it up an octave or two. Low velocity, so it's very subtle. Now what next? We've got the grungy beginning. We have the dwarf song and the reprieve, dwarf song, reprieve, and we have the cool section. Well, first of all, let's go back in and get our bass some action. Whole notes here, and then half notes in the faster section. These ones. And then I'm gonna bring them up to C4-ish, make it a little bit more granular. Whole notes instead of double whole notes. Copy the same thing. In the new section, we're gonna want the bass to follow along with the chord pad. So this looks like the root area. Okay, and that's the bass. So now I think here we want to take what we have and make it as good as possible. So let's explore a little bit. This is sort of the repetition of the mines. If we had some like pickaxe noise, it would be really cool. I think one of these things is it has like it's like a wooden hit or something. I think it was when I was placing the toms for one of my songs, and then I hit either above or below. So it's either E5 or D6. And I'm gonna take a risk here and say that it's this. Bum, ba, bum, bum. At this very odd spot is a good position for it. Let's take this and add it to each of our drum patterns. Another thing is, in this new section 2, the timpani actually has gone away in both of these new sections. I think to really sell the loop, let's put the timpani back, and maybe the timpani can have like a rise in volume. So we put the timpani back in new section 2, automation clip for this, timpani volume, and we can do something like this so that the timpani gets louder over time. I think we want to randomize the velocity a little bit of our piano parts, just to give it that extra touch. Go into each of these ones. What else do we want? I think we want some ebbing and flowing of the strings, and we really only need a 4-bar phrase. Put it everywhere that we have strings. Oh, I think we want more reverb and a little bit less high end on our piano to really sell the underground illusion. We'll just lower the high end like that. We can do the same thing with the strings. A little bit more reverb on the drums, maybe a touch of delay. I have to do this very quickly or it'll ruin the whole thing. Let's turn that all the way down, somewhere around there. And that is time. Now I'm going to split all these patterns, pretty it up a little bit. Hopefully it sounds good. But yeah, see you in a second. Okay, and now I'm putting my headphones on. Let's see if I did a good job or not. Ooh, honestly, I love that. It sounded so cool, I think. Especially at the end when it switches to that other section. It sounded kind of nursery rhymey, but I think it makes sense. You got dwarves in the mine, they're off tune a little bit. Over years and decades of practicing their singing, they've created something beautiful in a way, but not the same as our human children nursery rhymes. But yeah, I think I did a good job. Let me know what you thought of the song, and I'll see you next time.